So during this lecture, I will concentrate on this Helmholtz equation. We have an inclusion with electromagnetic parameters epsilon star and mu star inside background medium with electromagnetic parameters epsilon 0 and mu 0, and we have Helmholtz equation. Okay, and we first would like to write a representation formula for this one, like the one for the conductivity. Okay, so let me give first the fundamental solution for the Helmholtz equation. So I will call it gamma k of x, and it's given by minus I over 4 h10 of k of x and x minus exponential ek of x over 4 pi of x. This satisfies Laplacian plus k square gamma k equal to Dirac mass at 0, and the h10 is the Hankel function of first order and order 0. Hankel function of the first kind and order 0. Okay, actually if you change the sign here, it doesn't make any change. You put minus here, it's still a solution to this equation, Laplacian plus k square lambda k equal to delta 0. If you change this 1 to 2, there are two Hankel functions of the first kind. There is of order 0. There is the one of the first kind with 1 here, and there is one of the second kind. So a second kind if with index 2 here. If you change this sign, or you change 1 to 2, it's solution to the Helmholtz equation. So we have to select the one we are going to use. Otherwise, there are two fundamental solutions at least. Okay. In order to select the one, so we have to select the fundamental solution. We have to select the physical one. So we have to select the physical one. And what's the physical one? The physical one is the one coming from infinity, and not going to infinity. Okay. So we have to select it, and to select this sign or this 2, we add the Sommerfeld radiation condition. Sommerfeld radiation condition. This condition is on the behavior of gamma at infinity. So we impose that the derivative with respect to r minus a k gamma k, this behaves like some constant to x to the power d dimension space plus 1 over 2. Okay, this condition, this Sommerfeld radiation condition, selects the physical solution. If you change here minus to plus, then you use the other one with sign minus here and with the 2 here. Okay, so we will call the one with the one in white, we will call it outgoing solution. I will be back to this when I move to the time domain. In the time domain, it will be the Fourier transform of the causal solution, which is 0 for negative t, and then it starts at t equals 0, and then propagate. This one is Fourier transform. The other one is the Fourier transform of the anti-causal. Okay, solution. So this radiation condition selects the solution. Actually, Helmholtz equation with the radiation condition has a unique solution. Without radiation condition, it has at least two solutions: the outgoing wave and incoming wave. Okay? So the one in red is incoming wave. Incoming wave, it comes from infinity, and the outgoing wave, it goes to infinity. Okay. So particular solution we will be using are plane waves and cylindrical or spherical solution. So cylindrical solution is this one. This is cylindrical solution. Cylindrical wave. And this is a spherical wave. These waves are generated at the origin. Both of them, these two, are generated. They are generated at the origin, because this is solution to Dirac mass at 0, and they are radial solution. Okay, that's why they called radial. That's why they are called cylindrical or spherical waves. Okay. So an important formula is I'm going to use in this lecture is the Graph's addition formula. I will write it down for d equal to, but there is one for d equal 3. It's in the notes actually. Okay, take x larger than y, and the Graph's addition formula, it says that this cylindrical wave can be decomposed, generated cylindrical wave generated at the source point y. This is source point. Far away from the source point is given in terms of h1n of kx exponential en theta x gn ky exponential en theta y, where x, this is the polar coordinates, theta x, and y equal theta y. So actually it's a decomposition of this fundamental solution of the cylindrical wave in terms of these guys, gnky modulus of y exponential en theta. It's like decomposing any harmonic function. This is solution to Laplacian plus k square equal Dirac mass. It's exactly like decomposing any harmonic function in terms of Rn exponential en theta and R minus n exponential en theta. Actually, this is basis of harmonic functions. Okay, these ones are singular at the origin, and this one has this polynomial growth at infinity. And actually, this one, if you think about it like a family, it's complete. There is a completeness relation there on the notes. Completeness relation. Okay. So you can represent the Dirac mass in terms of these guys. So, and these guys are solution to the Helmholtz equation. For any n, Laplacian plus k square gn of kr there exponential n theta. This is actually this is 0. Okay. Okay, Gn, if you are familiar with this is Bessel function of order n, and these are Hankel functions of order n, Hankel functions of first kind and order n. So for n equals 0, it's nothing else than H10. Okay, so let me now introduce layer potentials for Helmholtz equation. We have a fundamental solution, so we can introduce layer potentials. So I introduce single layer potential at frequency k, of some density phi. Phi is in L2 of the boundary, and this is given by the convolution with gamma k of the density phi. This is single layer potential. Single layer potential satisfies the Helmholtz equation. It's solution to Laplacian plus k square SdK of any phi. This is 0 in what? In D. D is my inclusion, and outside D. Okay, it satisfies the Helmholtz equation. It satisfies the radiation condition. SdK phi satisfies the radiation condition, the Sommerfeld radiation condition at infinity. Why? Because it's gamma satisfies the Sommerfeld radiation condition. Okay, if you take the derivative of this guy with respect to x, it's the derivative of this guy with respect to x. We subtract minus ak this guy, we subtract minus ak this guy. So it will satisfy the radiation condition. Okay, this radiation condition is uniform actually with respect to directions. So because it's this is uniform with respect to x over x. This is directions. Okay, we introduce double layer potential k of phi of x. This is the convolution with the normal derivative. Okay, we can introduce the same, and this is same. It's a solution to Laplacian plus k square inside D and outside D. Okay. Now, because gamma k is solution to the Helmholtz equation. Now we introduce this Newman-Poincaré operators for Helmholtz equations. Kd of phi by the same. It's the integral on lambda k over lambda nu of x minus mu phi y and d sigma y, and kd star kdk star of phi of x is the integral of dk d nu x of x minus y phi y d sigma y. Okay, let me make a remark. If you look at this lambda k, what's the singularity of lambda k as x equal to 0? It's the same as lambda 0. So I'll write it here. Let me introduce lambda 0 of k is what? Is the one given by 1 to pi log of x and minus 1 over 4 pi of x. This is fundamental solution to the conductivity problem. Lambda k of x minus lambda 0 of x. The remainder is smooth. Okay. So its singularity is the same. So when we are looking at the behavior of the single layer potential, double layer potential, they are the same. as for Helmholtz equation, for conductivity equation, because the singularity with conductivity equation is the same. Okay. So we have the trace formula. We have exactly the same trace formula as for the conductivity problem. So we have the normal derivative of single layer potential phi k is equal to, from plus and minus, is equal to plus minus 1/2 plus kdk star of phi. This is exactly the same. If you put 0 here, it's the same. You have a double layer potential. It has a jump. So plus minus is equal to minus plus 1/2 plus kd of phi. Okay. So this is exactly the same. There is this kdk star is not the L2 adjoint of kd because it's complex. So it's the L2 adjoint of kd minus k. This is just a small detail. So we have exactly the same trace formula because the singularity is the same. Now we would like to write a representation formula for the solution, to the transmission problem. So let me start with the transmission problem in the full space. Transmission problem in the free space, because it's easier. Like this morning, we started with the transmission problem for the free space. It's much easier. So we consider divergence 1 over mu. It's exactly the same equation. U plus omega square epsilon u equals 0. This is in RD, and u minus h goes instead of going to 0 at cylindrical or spherical wave. So this is plane wave or cylindrical wave in dimension 2. Okay, dimension 3 spherical wave. We want to write a representation formula for u. Actually, there is a difference with the conductivity equation. The conductivity equation, the equation was Laplacian inside and Laplacian outside. Now, if we look at what is the equation inside, the equation inside is instead of Laplacian, we have Laplacian plus k star square. K star is equal to omega square root of epsilon star mu star. These are the electromagnetic parameters of the inclusion. Outside, it's Laplacian plus k0 square. K0 square is equal to omega square root of epsilon 0 mu 0. So it's not the same equation. So we cannot represent this by just one single layer potential or one double layer potential. We have to make a system of equations because the equations are different. So we write down the solution. We write u as what? Outside it's h plus single layer potential k0. Okay, of some function. We call it phi. Some density. Inside, this is outside the inclusion. Inside, it's a single layer potential of k star. Okay, of some density. I call it psi. Now I have a system of equations, but I have two conditions, two transmission conditions. Okay, so let me make sure that this is a solution to the Helmholtz equation. Yes, because the S single layer potential is solution to the Helmholtz equation, and this is a plane wave or cylindrical wave. U minus h is a single layer potential. This one satisfies the radiation condition. So radiation condition would be if u would be u minus h dx minus a k0 u minus x h. This one has to decay like x to the power minus d plus 1 over 2. Okay, So because single layer potential satisfies the radiation condition, then it's automatically there. Inside, this is solution, and this is solution to Laplacian plus K0 square. Inside, this is solution to Laplacian plus K0 star square. So we are okay. Now let's write the system. So system is, we have two transmission conditions here. Here. We have two transmission conditions. The first one is U plus equal to U minus. So U plus equal to U minus on the boundary. This is D and this is boundary. So I'm using always the same notation. This is plus and this is minus. So the limit from outside is the same as the limit from inside. This gives single layer potential K0 phi plus H is equal to single layer potential K0 K star psi on dd. This is one equation. Second equation is 1 over mu 0 normal derivative plus is equal 1 over mu star normal derivative minus. Okay, because it's inside. So like exactly like the conductivity problem. There is conservation of flux. There is continuity of the flux. So this one will give 1 over mu 0. So what's the normal derivative plus? Normal derivative plus is this one. Normal derivative of H plus normal derivative plus of K0 of phi. Actually, we can express it using this trace formula here. It's just 1/2 plus KD K0 star phi is. And this one is equal to 1 over mu star normal derivative SD K star of psi minus. Now you have two equations and you have two unknowns. Okay, this is unknowns. And actually this system has a unique solution provided that some conditions. So let me write it here. So this system of equations on phi and psi, if I will call it has the system of this system of equation on phi and psi, or for psi and psi, has a unique solution in L2 to the boundary times L2 to the boundary, provided H is smooth, but this is plane wave or cylindrical wave, and if it's cylindrical wave, it's generated from a source far away from the boundary. It's very smooth function, it's an infinity function. There exists a unique solution phi psi in this space, provided we have to make some assumption K0 is not directly eigenvalue of minus Laplacian on D. Okay, if K0 is not eigenvalue of minus Laplacian with directly boundary condition on D, then there is a unique solution to this system. And since there is a unique solution to this system, U can be represented by this. It's just a pair of functions, phi and psi densities. Outside it's H plus single layer potential of this one, and inside it's single layer potential with K star of some density, which is a unique solution to the system. Okay, what happens when it's bounded domain? For bounded domain, first they may not be solution, because bounded domain is this one. So bounded domain, so this is free domain. Bounded domain equation is the same. and either normal derivative equal G or the other condition U equal F on the boundary. This is either Newman problem or Dirichlet problem. They may be eigenfrequencies. So we have to assume that omega square or minus omega square is not eigenvalue of this problem. Of what actually? Of divergence 1 over mu gradient on L2 epsilon of x dx. Okay. Otherwise, with the corresponding boundary condition, with the corresponding either Newman corresponding boundary condition, either Newman boundary condition or Dirichlet boundary condition. Actually, for imaging small inclusions, something interesting about this eigenvalues happen. So when we are interested in small inclusions, it's enough to assume that minus omega square is not eigenvalue of Laplacian with the corresponding boundary condition. Why is this? So when imaging small inclusions, assume that the size of D is small inside omega. So this is in omega. Okay. So background solution. This is D. D is small. Background solution is solution to what? To Laplacian plus k square capital U equals 0 with normal derivative equal G. Okay, this is background solution. When there is no inclusion, there is so background solution is solution to this one. Now, in order to solve this one, we have to assume that minus k square is not a Newman eigenvalue of Laplacian on omega, right? When we add the inclusion, in the presence of the inclusion, actually the eigenvalues are spectrum is perturbed a little. Okay, and we can prove that if the size is small enough, then this problem has a unique solution. If minus omega is not eigenvalue of Laplacian, is not eigenvalue of minus k square is not eigenvalue of Laplacian with Newman boundary condition on omega, and then the problem is well posed. And we can prove this using the theory of collectively compact operators. So somehow, when we introduce this inclusion, this is compact perturbation of the operator, and it's even better. It's collectively compact perturbation of the operator, and then this is enough, assuming that the minus k square is not a Newman boundary. Newman eigenvalue of Laplacian on omega is enough for the size small enough, when the size is small enough. Okay, now when we have this, then we have the same representation. Same representation as what I wrote here. We wrote that U is equal H plus single layer potential, and it's single layer potential inside the inclusion. Okay, but it's the same. So what was this? So for free space, we wrote that U is equal to For the free space, we wrote that U is equal to H plus SD K0 of some density and SD K star of some density. And this phi and psi, they are in L2. And their solution to well-posed system of equations. This was for free space. Now for bounded domain, it's the same. It's like the conductivity. Bounded domain. It's exactly the same. It's like the conductivity. We wrote exactly the same decomposition, but with H, what is constructed from the data, G and F. Okay. So H is equal to minus single layer potential omega. It's not D, it's omega. K0 of G plus double layer potential on omega of F K0. So we have this Cauchy data. We construct this function H. This function H is solution everywhere, but not on the boundary of the omega of the Helmholtz equation. Laplace, and this one is solution to Laplacian plus K0 square H is equal to 0 in RD minus omega and in omega. It satisfies the radiation condition, and the solution of the bounded domain is just H plus single layer potential K0 and single layer potential K star of psi, where phi and psi satisfies exactly the same system as I think I still have it here. No, that's the same system as the system, exactly the same, with this new H, right? So this is the representation for of the solution. Okay. Now, like the conductivity problem, we introduced this Newman function. Okay, and we wrote a second representation in terms of the background solution. Okay, capital U. Here we can do the same. We can introduce, actually, if we are considering, let's consider this time for conductivity, we consider Newman boundary condition. Let's consider Dirichlet boundary condition for Helmholtz. To see what is going on. So when we consider Dirichlet boundary condition, we consider Dirichlet green function. I call it GK0, and it's a solution to delta function. So it's a delta function, I will call it solution to on Y, and this is X, and this is X. This is X, okay? With the boundary condition GK0 equals 0 on the boundary of omega. Okay? And then if we go back to the background solution, it's Laplacian plus K0 square, U equals 0, and U equal F on the boundary. Okay? If K0 is not, minus K0 is not eigenvalue of Laplacian with Dirichlet boundary condition, then this is well posed and this is well posed. Okay? And we have U of X for any X inside omega is nothing else than what? Then this integral of normal derivative of K0 xy f of y d sigma y. Okay. This is the representation formula for the background solution. Now, the solution of this problem with Dirichlet boundary condition can be written like U. It's normal derivative. Actually, okay. Because we want to write it on the boundary. On the boundary, we know what it is. It's f, but it's normal derivative. This would be the measurement. It's equal to the background solution the difference between the normal derivative of u and the normal derivative of capital U, background solution, is in terms of gk0. And it is nothing else than plus normal derivative of g dk0 of phi, where phi is the one here, the one defining through the system where there is h. So this system is k0 d phi minus sd k star equal minus h, and this normal derivatives minus normal derivatives equal normal derivatives of h. The system of equations. It's exactly like the conductivity problem. Phi was lambda a minus k d star minus 1 of dh d mu. Okay, here exactly the same. This one? Yeah. This one is so phi is the same, and gdk is the convolution with gk0. So this is of phi of x is the convolution with the Green function, Dirichlet Green function, xy phi y d sigma y. It's exactly like the conductivity problem. Okay. So this is the perturbation. And actually, to go from second representation to the first representation, or first representation to the second representation, we use an identity which relates g k0 to gamma k0. It's exactly like conductivity problem. For conductivity problem, we relate Newman function to the Green function, to the fundamental solution through this minus 1/2 plus k operator. Okay. Now this is it's 1/2 because it's a g, so it has to involve kd star. If it's n, it's k. Okay. So k omega k0 star. This is the relation. If we apply this on gk0, we will get on the normal derivative of gk0. We will get a normal derivative of the fundamental solution. Okay. If you do it for n k0, n Newman function with a Newman boundary condition here, then it would be minus 1/2 plus k omega k0 n equal gamma k0. These are the identities from which relate the Dirichlet or Newman Green function to the fundamental solution, and they are useful because if you have the data in terms of n or g, then post-processing the data will give you the Green function, and this is explicit. This is not explicit. This is extremely hard to handle. Okay, I will show you example where this is fundamental actually. Okay, now there is couple of fundamental identities for the Helmholtz equation. So first one is reciprocity. So what's reciprocity? Do I still have the Green function? No. So what's reciprocity? Reciprocity is when you change the receiver and the transmitter, you get the same signal. You send the signal, you generate a signal, spherical wave. Okay, you generate a signal here, you record the signal here, you get something. Now you send the signal here and you record it here, you get the same thing. So this is from transmitter to receiver, and this is from transmitter to receiver. You get exactly the same thing. This is a reciprocity. It's clear on the Green function. So the Green function is for a homogeneous medium. It's a homogeneous medium. It's what? Gamma of x and y. this is x and this is y, is equal to what? Let's write it in 2D or 3D, whatever. 2D. H1, 0, k of x minus y. So you change x and y in y and y and x. It's the same function. Okay. 3D is the same. X minus exponential e k x minus y 4 pi x minus y. So this is the reciprocity. In non-homogeneous medium, it's maybe we have to check whether this is true or not. So we take a fundamental solution, non-homogeneous medium. So divergence 1 over mu gradient plus omega square epsilon. I call it phi k0 equal to Dirac mass at 0. I put 1 over mu 0 here in order to get the same. When mu equal mu 0 and epsilon equal epsilon 0, then when mu epsilon equal epsilon 0 and mu equal mu 0, phi k0 is equal to gamma k0. Okay, and assume that what we assume? We assume that for x large enough, larger than some radius r0, epsilon equal epsilon 0 and mu equal mu 0. Okay. Inside this ball, epsilon and mu piecewise constant. This is the case of interest, but they could be homogeneous, just any function. It doesn't matter. We define the green function. This is the fundamental solution of this problem, and we have to add the Sommerfeld radiation condition. Otherwise, it's not unique. So this problem has a unique solution. It's phi k0. Okay. Now we want reciprocity is to prove that phi k0 of x and y. So phi k0 of x and y is what? Just put y here. This is x and this is x and y. And here derivative with respect to x. Okay. So this is phi k0 of x and y is take y, generate wave. Okay. And measure the wave on x. X could be here, whatever. Okay. Is this phi k0 of y and x? Means generate wave here, measure here. Generate the wave here, measure it here. If reciprocity holds, then this is the same quantity. Okay, so let's prove that this is true. How to prove it? It's simple. So take the equation divergence 1 over mu gradient plus omega square epsilon phi k0 of x y2. This is 1 over mu 0 delta y2, right, on x. Write the same thing, divergence 1 over mu gradient plus omega square epsilon phi k0 of x y1. This is 1 over mu 0 Laplacian y1 of x. Okay. This is wave generated at y2, and this is wave generated at y1. Now multiply this equation by phi k0 x y1. Okay, and multiply this equation by phi k0 x y2, and subtract. Okay, if you do it, you will get this following. What you will get? You will get divergence mu 0 over mu of phi k0 x y1 gradient phi k0 x y2 minus phi k0 x y2 gradient of phi k0 xy1. This is equal to what? Equal to multiplied by mu 0 equal to phi k0 xy1 Dirac mass at y2 minus phi k0 xy2 Dirac mass at y1. Okay, so phi xy1 Dirac mass at y2, it's nothing else than phi y2 y1 Dirac mass at y2. Okay, in the sense of distribution. Okay, because and this is the same y1 y2. Okay, now integrate this over ball br. Okay, r larger than this r0. Okay, r larger than r0. So what you get here? Here you get 1, and here you get 1. Okay, because you integrate Dirac mass, that's 1. Then this quantity is what? This quantity, if you integrate it by parts, it will give you the sum on dBr of nu. It's divergence of something. So you integrate it by part, so it will be this guy times nu. That's all. Okay, so nu times mu 0 over mu. We can put it here. Mu 0 over mu, it's because r is larger than r0, it's 1. Nu times phi k0 xy1 gradient phi k0 xy2 minus phi k0 xy2 gradient phi k0 xy1. Right? This is equal to this quantity. Now here you notice that this is nu times gradient phi k0. It's normal derivative of x. But this is, you know what it is, approximately. This is the radiation condition. So when you use the radiation condition here, this is a k0 phi k0 plus O of 1 over x d plus 1 over 2, right? So this one. The other one is the same. Nu times gradient here is the same. Use the gradient, use the radiation condition. And actually, if you use the radiation condition, the first order term cancel out, because this one will be replaced by, so you will get sum on dBr of phi k0 xy1, phi k0 this one xy2 minus phi k0 xy2 phi k0 xy1. This is 0. Yes. Plus some reminder, but the reminder is decays fast when r goes to infinity. So you take the limit of this r goes to infinity, and this will give you that this quantity is equal to 0. So phi k0 y2 y1 is equal to phi k0 y1 y2. This is the reciprocity. Okay, so this is reciprocity, and it relies heavily on the radiation condition. Without this, it's not correct. Okay.
So it's true for general domain.
It's true for any distribution psi and mu. Yes, because the only thing that we did is just integration by parts.
Can you understand it as time universal of?
It's reciprocal. Yes. Yes. Yeah. We'll talk about it. Yeah. Okay. Now let me show you one more identity similar to this one. So it's called Helmholtz-Kirchhoff identity. So we don't keep this one. It's called Helmholtz-Kirchhoff. So what it shows? Actually, why I'm calling this because this identity it plays a key role in the resolution analysis. When we will study this, what is the smallest distance that can be resolved by the imaging algorithms? This identity appears in very natural way. Okay, so it plays a key role in resolution analysis. In imaging with waves, of course. So it's true only for Helmholtz equations. There is no equivalent identity for conductivity. For frequency zero, there is no equivalent identity. Actually, this is one of the things that make conductivity completely different from Helmholtz equation, from waves. So what it says, let me first show it on a fundamental solution, gamma k0. This one is explicit, so everything can be done by hand on this one. And then I will show it for this one too. So it says that the integral on y equal r of the normal derivative of the fundamental solution complex conjugated, okay, x y times gamma k0 dy minus normal derivative of dy gamma k0 plus xy, and you integrate all of this on d sigma y. Okay, so you take the fundamental solution, you conjugate the fundamental solution, you put it, you take its normal derivative at the point x and y, okay, and times gamma k0 d and y, and you subtract normal derivative at d and y, and gamma bar x and y. So this is y equal r, x is here and the z is here, they are inside. Okay, this is integration by parts. So you write it by hand and you will get this is 2a imaginary part of the Green function on x and z. So this one. Okay, this is integration by part. Okay, now what is called it's not still what is called Helmholtz-Kirchhoff equation. Helmholtz identity. Helmholtz identity is to replace this guy by what is by the first term in the Sommerfeld radiation condition. So we know that gamma k0 bar d nu is we know that I will write it here. We know that gamma k0 x and y, its normal derivative on y, this behaves like a k0 gamma k0 x and y for y large enough when r is large enough. Okay, plus o of 1 over r to the power d plus 2. Okay, this is the Sommerfeld radiation condition. You complex conjugate here, it's minus here, and this is this. Okay, the other one, this one, normal derivative, you write it y on d and y. It's a k0 gamma k0 xy plus o of 1 over r d plus 1 over 2. So when r is large, you have what? You have the limit as r goes to infinity of what? The integral on y equal r. So the point x and z are fixed, and r is going to infinity. This is you will get gamma k0 bar of x and y, because you replace this one by minus I k0, and you replace this one by a k0. Okay, so you will get the product between gamma k0 xy complex conjugated, gamma k0 d and y, d sigma y. This is nothing else than minus 1 over k0, the imaginary part of gamma function d and x. And this is Helmholtz-Kirchhoff identity. So the product between the green function and its conjugate. So if you make the product between the green function here, this is y, the green function here, and its conjugate from y to x, and you integrate over the whole disk. This gives you imaginary part of a k0, of gamma k0 at z and x. So this would be the resolution actually of many of these algorithms. This would be the relay resolution, because the imaginary part of the green function is what? In dimension 2, in dimension 3 is sinc function. This is sinc. Sinc function is sinc k0 x sine k0 x minus g over 4 pi x minus g. This function has maximum at x equals z, but it has some width, and this width is a resolution. So this function is something like this. This is at 0, and then it oscillates. Okay, this is this function. This is sinc function, and this is maximum at x equal z. But this is the half of this maximum. This would be our resolution limit. Actually, this is the Rayleigh resolution limit. I will be back to this resolution limit, because what we can generate from measurements, these are measurements far away from the inclusion. What we can generate from the measurements is this quantity. So this would be able to generate the imaginary part of the green function, not the green function itself. If we can generate the green function itself, we will have infinite resolution imaging. But because this is the only thing that we can do, we get imaginary part of the green function. Okay. Now this is sinc part. The other part is singular, but the other part is lost through imaging. Okay. So the question is, does this hold for this function? Yes, we have the same. We have so we define phi k0. This is inhomogeneous medium, and the theorem, I would say, the Helmholtz identity would say that this is true. So we have. We have the same. We have limit as r goes to infinity of the integral on y equal r of phi k0 of x and y complex conjugate, phi k0 of d and y, d sigma y. This is 1 over minus 1 over k0, it's the same. Minus over k0, imaginary part of phi k0 f d and x. That's all. So it's exactly the same. When the medium is homogeneous, it's the same. When the medium is not homogeneous, this is the identity. It gives what? It gives resolution is fixed by the imaginary part of the green function. It's not sinc anymore. It's something else. It behaves like sinc because, but it may behave like sinc, but with effective k0. Okay. So resolution, if you, many people have been working on this, to make super resolution is to make this one as sharp as possible. So when you make it as sharp as possible, you make it like this. You make it, and then you gain resolution because it's very sharp. It's not about the height, the weight, the height, that's value here. It's about this thing. Okay, if you make it very sharp, then you gain a resolution. And how to make it very sharp? So you change. One way is to change locally the medium here. So you take it homogeneous, and if you change locally the medium, if you have a good idea on where is Z, you change locally the medium. If you change locally the medium, you may be able to change the sharpness of the green function. So you make it with, it's still sync because of this